Hey my babies, it's your girl adorekristiana and I'm back with another video. I just wanted to give you a up close and personal look at this wig that I purchased from Amazon through the company Talentshow hair. Okay, it is a 13 by 4 HD transparent lace, 20 inches in body wave, and it came pre-plucked. And yes, that was probably one of the best pre-plucked wigs that I've seen. Okay, and I just wanted to show you guys what the lace looks like in front of my skin, just to give you guys an idea of what it's looking like before any bleaching of the knots and the lace tinting. And yeah, you can't deny that thing is sheer. All right, the quality of the wig cap was very good. It did come with the lace in the back if you do want to glue it down, as well as the standard combs around. It was 3 of them, I believe, and 2 adjustable strappies so you can adjust it to your head size. All right, and straight out the box, let's talk about this hair. Okay, it certainly was giving body, like right when I took it out the bag. I mean, it is body wave, so if it didn't, we have a problem. All right, but it was super soft, no shedding, minimal tangling, well, no tangling and minimal shedding, because it did shed when I was washing it, but that's normal. Like, hair is gonna shed when you wash it and brush it out and everything, but the movement was there, the shine was present. And just look at the body, y'all, and the shine and the light. Yeah, okay. So that's what we're working with. And the goodness didn't stop there. My wig came with gifts, one being a wig cap with a nice little message, some 3D eyelashes. It came with some earrings and a tattoo, y'all. I was not expecting that, but I don't have any tattoos, so I might have to try this one out. So to bleach my knots, this is what I used. I had 20 volume developer on hand, and this is the bleaching powder I used. And for washing, I used a Dove collection of shampoo for the hair, the Shimmer lights for the lace, and those are my heat styling products. All right, I'm getting settled in, and I hope you guys are too, because it is about time to install this wig. I want to make sure that this wig fits on my head nice and snug, so I'm trying it on just to see how much I need to adjust the straps on the side, which your girl had no idea how to do, so this is what I came up with. I did like a crisscross applesauce kind of situation. Okay, look, don't judge me. All I know is that it was tighter, but if there's a way of going about this correctly, please let me know. But here I am trying to figure out, how is this wig about to fit on my head, because the hairline was a little bit abnormal in reference to mine. So while I figured that out, I grabbed my Got To Be clear gel and I laid down my edges in the back and the edges in the front. And no, I wasn't going to glue down the back, but I just wanted to make sure all my little curly edges in the back were tucked away nice and sleek, because I just don't want an unnatural look in the back and then have my wig all sleeved. So I dried them down, and then when I was done, I got right into my cap. And this time I cut the holes in the eyes, because last time y'all could not see. If you know, you know. And then I cut my ear holes or ear tabs or whatever they call them. I got it done. And I'm going to use my Ghost Bond to lay down my cap. Now, I say this with a little bit of despair, because I'm not sure if this is more of an advanced technique or if it's just simply not for me. But it turned out to be a little bit of a mess, and like you can even see right now, I probably used too much glue, and that's partially why it didn't go as planned. But here I am. Okay, that's just a little preface to what I got going on. But as you see here, I'm just putting my glue around, and I'm gonna go ahead and blend it all in with my little popsicle stick and try and get it as smooth as I can. And I was holding on to so much hope that this was going to dry clear the way that I intended it to, but it was pretty much a dub. Like, I just used too much glue, and I just, I couldn't go back. I really couldn't. So I just sent up a little prayer, and I said, you know what, let's just keep it moving. So I used my Got To Be Blast and Freeze spray, and I sprayed it behind the line of demarcation that I created with my Ghost Bond. And I just spread it out with my finger and blow dried it until I felt like it was super dry and hard like a shell. I'm not even gonna lie though, I really did start to get nervous. Like, I literally looked up the video that I got this from and just started to try and make sure I'm doing everything right. By the way, that was Hypnotic Lady on YouTube. So once it was as dry as it could be, I just started cutting off the excess cap. But I literally was cutting off all the ghost bond that I put down on the cap, y'all. Like, it was mad pointless. So I'm just like, okay. But I just cut off everything that I felt had to get cut regardless, because I wanted my wig cap to align with and mimic my natural hairline as well as possible. So I just said F it and I did what I had to do. So when I finished cutting off my ear tabs, I used those little flaps to tie down the back, just to tuck my braids in and make sure they stay secure and they do not move under my wig. And bam, it's nice and flat, just like that. Hey. I had no idea where things were going to go from here, but I knew that I did have to clean up the front of this cap, because when I tell you it was a sticky mess, it was a sticky behind mess, y'all. Like, oh my gosh. But once I figured that all out, I went ahead and used my makeup and my makeup brush to go Caillou on you hoes. Y'all feel me? So I literally just covered my cap until I felt like it was enough. But that white line of demarcation in the front of my cap, like, kills me. Like, I can't wait for my next install so I can just redeem myself. But I had to get this one out to get all the mistakes out. You know what I mean? Like, that's just life. So I cleaned up as much as the glue as I could with my alcohol and my Q-tips and my cotton pads. And now I'm just kind of evaluating the hairline of the wig before I put it back on, because again, I already knew this was going to be a little bit of a challenge, but I'm up for challenges because I love learning new things. So I started to pull it forward a little bit, and I already knew like this was going to be some shit. So I just pulled the sides down as much as I could, because I figured those were going to be the easiest to lay, especially once my cap was on and cut and everything. I realized that it was easy to line those up in a way that my cap was covered and that the sides of my hairline looked pretty natural. But as far as the front goes, I just knew that I was going to have to make my way back around to that. You heard me. So, you know, while I kind of brainstormed on how I was going to do that, I did what you are supposed to do before you install your wig, and that is cut the ear tabs, which was nerve-wracking, I have to say. It definitely was, but I got it done and I took my time, and I didn't cut any tracks out, y'all. Like, that was my biggest nightmare. I thought I was literally going to just, okay, woo woo woo, I'm cutting in the front, and next thing you know, I'm all the way in the back cutting the whole damn track out. So this went okay. And I did use Kaisha Jabri's method of cutting the ear tabs, where she just parts out the hair that's right above her ear and behind her ear, and then you just cut along that part. So that definitely saved me a lot of trouble. And yeah, try it out, y'all. It worked like a charm. Once the ear tabs were gone, I definitely had a better handle of the front of this hairline. So again, I'm just checking to make sure everything is aligned, but I'm also coming to the realization that yeah, the front of this is going to have to get customized, like for real. Also, here I am just adding the glue back to my cap, y'all. Like, if you watch wig videos, you know that like this is part of the process, but it really just killed me because, like I said, I put ghost bond on my cap just to cut it all off, have a sticky mess in the front, and then have to add more. Like, that really blew me, but it was fine. You got to do what you got to do, right? But let me just point out, y'all, out of all the things that I had to do to lay this wig, a lot of it was new. And y'all know this. But one thing I knew for sure was that I had to put makeup on the inside of my motherfucking lace. And what did I not do? I did not put makeup on the inside of my lace. Come on, like, adore. Damn. But again, all is well. So I'm just trying to lay my lace in the front down on top of the cleared and dried glue before I actually press it in. But once again, the sides were pretty straightforward for me, so I did press them down sooner than the middle. I was just trying to make sure, like, okay, should I pull the front down? Should I pull it back? And then I said, you know what? Wherever the glue is on my hairline, that's where I'm going to push this front of the wig down, because all I'm going to do is cut off anything that is in front of that glue, because it's not going to serve me. And if something is not serving you, let it go. And that's on PSA. So that's exactly what I did. I made sure it was down nice and flat and glued though. See how I'm tugging it? Because it did feel a little bit loose for some reason. So my behind, as a beginner, chose to do some advanced shit and put my ghost bond on my rat tail comb, like, on the end or whatever. And I just dug my comb back up there and started just feeling around where I thought there needed to be glue. And y'all see it happening. Like, okay, girl, you better go ahead. You fearless. You motherfucking fearless. And once that was all said and done, I just melted my glue down with my comb and my blow dryer. And I got this method from Double C on YouTube. So yeah, that's what I'm doing now, just to make sure it's completely dry before I do any cutting, because that will just be another mess in itself. So I did want to make sure that where I put the glue right here in the middle was dry. So where I'm parting, y'all, is exactly where I'm gonna have to cut. Like, have you ever seen anybody have to cut that much hair and lace off their wig? Because I have not. Like, this thing literally wanted to touch my nose. Like, no, it had to go. It had to go. I ended up putting my finger underneath the lace to try and gauge like how much I was gonna have to cut, because I didn't want to cut too much or too little. So before I even did that, I put my melt band on just to let the glue set, and right when I took it off, I got right into cutting. So I did cut two pieces, what do you call them, slits, and then it created 3 tabs, and I started cutting in the middle tab because that was the one I was the most anxious about. It just had to go. So I started cutting straight across, and I meant to cut in like a jagged motion, and then when I had that thought, I was like, oh yeah, I'm supposed to be using my razor because that's what creates the jagged motion. So I went ahead and tried it out, and it really wasn't bad. I could see why people use it. It really just glides right across with minimal effort. So that was cool or whatever. And yeah, I was so happy that that thing was going. Like, but as soon as I started celebrating my small win, y'all, like not even a minute later, of course I ran into another problem. Boom. Within an iota of a second, I learned that a heavy hand woman with a razor and some thin lace is not a good mix, y'all. I slashed my damn lace with that razor. Like, I started getting excited and I had to backtrack. But once again, I'm learning here, so it was okay. We're just gonna fix the little mistake. So I had to put glue right on my cap. If I did not fix this, you were gonna see cap. So it was kind of like I had no choice. But I dried the glue after I spread it out with my popsicle stick, and then I made sure it was completely dry before I dared to cut the rest of that lace. So I came over to this side and I started cutting again everything that had to go. So I pulled up the tab until I couldn't pull it anymore, and I just started cutting. And y'all notice how I did not pick up that razor again, right? Yeah, because that was scary, very scary. But yeah, so my lace is practically all cut off. And now we can get into some other things. Or did I clean up after this? I probably have to clean up the glue some more. Let's see. Yep. So I just made sure that all the glue was gone. And in the midst of this, I'm not even going to lie, I ended up lifting the lace. Like, girl, what are you not doing wrong during this install? Like, right? So I had to backtrack once again, and I just used the same technique that I used earlier on. by using the bottom of my rat tail comb with my ghost bond, and I just lifted the lace gently, put it underneath, and then I pressed it down using the top of my rat tail comb. And this process was actually pretty simple because my lace already was lifting naturally. So it wasn't like I had to pull and tug and lift it up. I just put my hand at the top of my wig and pulled it back a little bit, and I could clearly see underneath the lace. So that was perfect. It was an easy fix. And you see how I just laid it down with the back of my rat tail comb and my blow dryer? Yeah, that was the bid. That actually wasn't the worst thing ever. Then I realized I didn't cut the back lace off because I was so wrapped up in everything else. So I cut that off, and I messed with the back a little bit. I didn't even know what to do with the comb. It was kind of in the way. My braids felt bulky, but I was telling myself it's fine. Like, I'll figure the back out, y'all. I don't know just yet. But I did cut basically all of the plucked hairs from the front of this unit off. So I had to create my own. This was my first time plucking a wig, you guys, and I actually found it pretty fun. Like, it was one of those things that's like therapeutic for me. So I would love to take my time doing this and really perfecting the way that I want my wig plucked, because I do have a vision of how I want my wigs to look when I pluck them. But this wig was not that necessarily. I really just hacked away at this drawing. Like, this is in real time, and this is really how fast I'm going. Like, I just needed them to get going, mostly because I didn't plan on having to pluck, but y'all see the difference, right? So I really just kept going until I got the same-ish results on this side of my head that I got on the opposite side. That's a little more transparent. Okay. But yeah, what was I saying? Oh yeah, I would enjoy doing this more probably on a mannequin, because again, I can perfect it and I can take my time. But I did not intend on having to pluck any hairs at all, really, because the unit looked so nice when I took it out the box that I intended on just basically laying it and just doing a little plucking here and there. But unfortunately, the unit didn't fit like my forehead or like my hairline shape, so I had to cut it all off, which is fine. Like, I don't mind having to customize. That's what makes it fun. So y'all, I knew I was not doing the middle part. Like, I knew it. But recently I was watching a video on how to pluck like the middle part, so I was just trying it, just a little trial. It was nothing to see there. It was nothing to see. But yeah, and then when I was done that, I was about to make my side part, and I realized that like this side could use a little more plucking. And then I was like, you know what, you're doing a side part, like F it. So I just kind of left it where it was, and I'll probably revisit it if I ever decide to change the part of this wig. But for now, nah. But I realized that the hairs in the front were literally sticking to my lace, and it was actually like quite annoying. But it made me realize that the foundation of this install being my wig cap was just not the best, and just glue being everywhere and just having a sticky hairline is not ideal for a wig install. Like, you want to keep it clean, you want to keep the grease away, you want to keep the stickiness away. So I definitely learned that, and now moving forward, I'm definitely going to try and perfect the foundation of my installs. But I went ahead and took out my baby hairs, and I'm laying it down with my Ibn Wonder Lace bond and just letting it set. And in the meantime, I'm going to lay this unit flat, y'all. I was the most excited about this part. I don't know why. It's just like the process just seems fun. But I didn't have a wax stick on me just yet at this time. So I used what I had, which was my Edge Booster pomade. And honestly, y'all, it did the trick. Like, I would not mind like switching it up and using this sometimes. Although my hot comb could have been on a more hot setting, but I'm not accustomed to hot tools. Like, I'm not that girl yet, so I just didn't want to burn myself or do anything nutty. So I kept it on a lower temperature, and I just took my time to let that heat really get to the top of the unit. So that's what I'm doing. I'm just kind of letting it lay. And this is my first time, y'all, so I'm really just feeling it out. And it felt good, though. It really did. So I did the same thing to the other side, but in less sections, obviously, because it doesn't need as many sections. It's kind of already flat. but I laid it down pretty good. And I think the next day when I did this laying process again after I woke up, I put it on a hotter setting, so it was mad flat the next day too, but this was fine. So I'm gonna use my cheese Silk Infusion, y'all. This is for my styling, and you only need a dime size amount of this. Like, honestly, that's all you need. Like, I'm not even lying to you. I've been using this since I was permed, y'all. And for my hold, I'm going to use the Sebastian Shaper Plus Hairspray because I am doing curls. So that is what this, that is the purpose that this is serving, okay? And once I'm done, I'm just going to brush everything in just to get it all mixed together. And then I'm going to start the curls. Okay, so I'm going to give y'all the scoop. I've had this curling iron. Do you even call it a curling iron? Do you call it like a barrel? Like, I don't even know, but I've had it for years, like ever since I was a permed girl, and I really never used it. So as you can see, like, I have no technique just yet, but I said, Adore, go ahead, girl, and fake it until you make it, and I bet you will get it. And yeah, I burned my finger along the way, but when I tell y'all, I started feeling it. Like, my curl did not come out too bad. Like, so that's what I kept doing. After this, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna use that same technique and I'm gonna curl this head and it's gonna be cute. And that's on period. So that's what I did, y'all. And if you don't know how to curl, like, I promise you, this is probably the easiest thing you could use to curl your hair. Like, it's probably easier than a flat iron because that's what I've used in the past. Like, this is literally made for curls, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, FYI, my babies. And I did the other half of my hair off camera, but this is what this looks like right now. Ooh. And I'm just gonna set it with some more hairspray because I was hoping that these would stay and I did not have to put heat back on. Y'all, at this point I chuckled because here we are again, just revisiting the whole hair stuck to the lace situation. It was annoying, but I just kind of kept it pushing because at that point I had already came to the conclusion that it's all about the foundation, and that's why this is happening. And I'm pretty sure it's mostly because the glue was able to seep through my lace because it wasn't thoroughly dry or I used too much, you know what I mean? So that's why that happened, but I just kept it moving and I cut my baby hairs to my liking. But unfortunately, I didn't really like them. I ended up not liking them, y'all. Like, they were looking too dark. They were a little too long. Like, I'm not really sure exactly what it was that was, like, throwing me off. But I ended up trying to, like, brush it up and then, like, brush just a little bit back down so it looked more transparent. Like, I could have plucked it more maybe, too. Like, you know? So in the end, I literally just ended up brushing up this side and I said, okay, let's just do one cute swoop for the one time. Like, so I went back in with the clear Got To Be gel I used earlier and I laid it on down. But I'm pretty sure where I went wrong with this was going back in 3 or 4 times with more gel and trying to remold my edges, because when I took it off, I was just not feeling it. It was just like mad shiny and it looked like plastic. It looked synthetic versus the rest of my hair looking so natural and bouncy and soft. My edges really looked like they was motherfucking synthetic, y'all. Like, that shit was crazy. Like, the light hit it and you could just tell. Like, it was wild. So I'm thinking I'm fly now. I took that thing off. I said, hold on. What? Like, hold up now. It was so hard, and it was to the point where I was admiring the side without the baby hairs more than the side with baby hairs, and that's so unlike me. So I knew something was up. So while I tried to figure out how I felt, I went ahead and put the makeup on my lace in the front, which I meant to do before I put the melt band back on, but I forgot. And then I put the concealer in my part, and then I cleaned it up with my baby wipe because that's all I had at the moment. Don't you judge me. Okay. And then I was feeling good. And I said, you know what? I'm going to just brush these out with my fingers. But it was really set off the next day when I used my brush to brush them out. I did away with the baby hairs and I ditched the defined part, y'all. I just brushed it over how it naturally wanted to. Did someone say sew in? Like, come on, stop playing with me. Thank you, Talentshow, for giving me this hair. If you enjoyed, go ahead and give it a big thumbs up. And if you want to see more from me, because I got more for you, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. And I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye.